In the business world, there is a very fascinating trend that has been going around, and this trend is called debranding. Sounds weird, right? Why would a well-known company choose to simplify or even remove its popular branding? In today's video, we will be telling you all you need to know about debranding, the idea behind it, and why some companies are choosing to take this risky path. So don't go anywhere, and let's get right into it. What is debranding? The first thing we're going to do is define debranding. It is a process where companies simplify or strip back their elements that they are normally identified by. We're talking about logos, names, colors, slogans, and other things like that. It can come in different ways. It can simply be removing the brand name from the logo, or it can be the brand trying to distance itself from any negative reputations related to its current or former name. Debranding can be a strategic move to create a cleaner and more universal appeal. It comes from an idea that in a world where companies are doing the most with advertisements, just being simple might make your product stand out. Debranding came about in the early 2000s when brands started to face backlash from their customers about their marketing strategy. Since customers thought the brands were doing too much marketing, they decided to take a more subtle approach to it. You might have heard of rebranding before, but don't get confused. Debranding is totally different from rebranding. Rebranding has to do with changing the brand to appeal to a new market or demographic, or to reflect a new company direction. On the other hand, debranding is just simplifying the existing elements of the brand, mostly visual, so as to focus on the core aspects of the brand. The most common debranding strategies are removing names from logos, simplifying the logo design, removing colors and patterns from packaging, and going generic with product names and descriptions. For example, years ago, Nike's logo was a swoosh or a tick, whichever you want to call it, with their name on it. However, their present logo is only the swoosh. You can say that they debranded by removing their name from the logo. Google has also debranded several times over the years. In fact, they have had 7 logos since they first launched their brand. And in 2015, Google dropped the shadow and gradient effect of their previous logos so that their current logo is a simple sans serif font. There are many other examples of popular companies that have debranded over the years, but let's get into why these companies took these steps in the first place. So, why do companies decide to debrand? There are many reasons why a company can decide to debrand, and they are all strategic reasons. At the end of the day, the hope is that sales will increase, or at least not decrease, after the debranding is done. But let's dive deeper into why they can be motivated to take this risk in the first place. Because debranding is definitely a very risky business. One reason why a company can want to debrand is to professionalize. When most companies first start up, they don't have that much money to spend on their branding. So their first logo design usually isn't the most professional looking. So as the company grows, they might want to change their logo to reflect functionality and to help them look more professional and serious. When companies change their logos to focus on functionality instead of flashy visuals, they were able to create a more mature brand identity that appeals to a wider audience. For example, in 2019, Dunkin' Donuts dropped donuts from its name so that it could present a more professional image that could compete directly with major coffee brands like Starbucks. Another reason why a company can choose to debrand is to seem more modern and up-to-date. In 2018, luxury fashion brand Burberry drastically simplified its logo in an attempt to appear more modern and appeal to a younger audience. Unlike the old logo, which had a serif font, the new one has a modern sans serif typeface. In general, debranded logos are usually flatter and have fewer gradients and fewer details from the former ones. This makes them easier to use across different platforms, and they are also more adaptable. In 2019, Warner Bros. Also debranded by changing its logo from the iconic gold shield to a horizontal line that has the company's initials so the logo could look simpler and more modern. With the establishment of mobile apps and social media, companies also had to start thinking of a way to best digitalize their brands and logos. The bigger logos had to be shrunk into a tiny digital box, and this meant that they kind of looked awkward or bad because they were not made to be shrunk. So some companies decided to simplify their logos to make them easier to translate into digital formats. For example, Google is now easily recognizable on mobile apps with their simple G design after debranding. The company said that they debranded because they wanted to create a simpler design that was better suited for mobile devices. MasterCard also simplified its logo in 2016 to just 2 interlocking circles. They dropped the company name from the logo so it could look better in digital wallets and mobile interface. When it comes to digitalization, debranding also allows the companies to focus more on creating a good user experience instead of just focusing on having the most recognizable logo. One other reason a company can choose to debrand is to streamline a certain product. This usually happens in cases where the company has many different products and they're trying to draw attention to a certain one or increase the sales of a certain one. One company that has been able to be totally successful using debranding for this purpose is Coca-Cola. If you can remember, there was a time Coca-Cola changed the name on their drink, specifically Coke, to the names of people. So, instead of seeing Coca-Cola on a bottle of Coke, you would see common names like Louise or Gabby or James, and people started buying Coke more because they were exciting to see their names or the names of their friends or family on a bottle of Coke. This is a perfect case of debranding, and this move worked perfectly for Coca-Cola, as it increased young adult consumption by 7% and also increased the traffic to Coke's Facebook page by 870%. Of course, the debranding only worked so well because Coke was already so popular that people could recognize the drink without seeing the name Coca-Cola on the bottle. There are still many other reasons why companies decide to debrand. One of them is for market expansion. When companies reduce the specificity of their brand, they are also able to expand into new markets or product lines without confusing the customers. For example, before 2011, the words Starbucks Coffee were on the Starbucks logo. But in 2011, they chose to remove those words and leave their logo as just the iconic siren because they wanted to expand to being more than just a coffee shop and start offering more products and services. Now, seeing the Starbucks logo on a cup of tea is not confusing because nothing about the logo makes you think they only sell coffee. In 2019, Dunkin' Donuts also dropped donuts from its name for the same reason. One other reason that has maybe been the major reason for most companies debranding is simplicity. Studies have shown that it is easier for customers to remember a logo of a brand when it is very simple compared to a complex one. I'm sure many people can't remember that Apple's logo was once a very colorful apple. Over the years, they have changed their logo until they arrived at a sleek, monochromatic design in 2017. This new logo is the one that people remember, and it also represents their minimalistic and user-friendly philosophy. The final reason some companies decide to debrand is a very unexpected one, and it is peer pressure. Like I said earlier, debranding has become a trend in the business world, and all companies want to keep up with this trend. Especially when it comes to companies with the same customer market, they cannot allow their competition to be above them, so they make sure to participate in the trend in an effort to keep their customers. So these are the reasons why a company can decide to debrand. So, does debranding work for every company? Well, the simple answer is no. Debranding is not the best decision for every company or every brand. It only really works with mature brands and businesses that already have a loyal customer base. Even these businesses have to be careful because there is a chance that they can confuse their customers or dilute the value of their brand. While some customers will see debranding as a good thing, some might already be attached to the old brand identity and not see the new one as a good idea. We hope you've had fun learning all about debranding in today's video. Now that you know what debranding is, have you noticed that any of your favorite brands has a new look? And how do you feel about it? Share your thoughts in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe because we've got more interesting content coming for you. Bye for now.